Originally announced about 2 years ago in July of 2021, and now set to release late summer of this year 2023, Xdefiant, or as it was formerly known, Tom Clancy's Xdefiant, yeah, that was really a thing, is one of the most hyped up and sought after first-person shooters because of its mixture of elements from different games in Ubisoft's past and the beloved Call of Duty first-person shooter style of gameplay. But it wasn't always that way. Xdefiant has already gone through quite a wild history, but there was a time where Xdefiant was nothing but an idea in the mind of the veteran Call of Duty producer, Mark Rubin. So let's start there. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the entire history of Xdefiant.
We're excited to share a first look at a project we're developing at Ubisoft San Francisco.
It's fast-paced firefights meets punk rock mosh pit.
We're proud to introduce our new game,
Tom Clancy's Xdefiant.
July 19th, 2022, this video of executive producer Mark Rubin and creative director Jason Schroeder was released on Ubisoft's YouTube channel. A video all about the new Ubisoft project, Tom Clancy's Xdefiant. This video describes a load of features that are still relevant to the modern game, and also some differing details like the punk rock mosh pit, and of course the XD logo that everyone has seen at this point. With how supported the game is today, you'd probably be surprised to hear that there was actually a lot of people hating on the game in the comments of that video. Comments like, Ubisoft is like that one friend that always asks for advices but ends up doing the opposite of the advices you give. And also, this game is for shareholders, not players. It's a shame how talented people at Ubi are forced to work on games like this. Essentially, all this hate was stemming from the Tom Clancy title, with a ton of people saying that it wasn't tactical and realistic enough for a Tom Clancy's game. Although it was early in Xdefiant's life, this video actually made a pretty big impact on YouTube, with channels like Drifter and Jack Frags making first impressions videos on it. I think Drifter described this time in the game's early life perfectly. This is what he said.
The game has a good combat flow, which is the most important thing for a shooter, but the balancing aspect isn't done. And I think what we have here is a really good start to a game. This is the really good, like, day one of a game, and now it needs to be polished. Now we need a lot of iterations of playtime. We need a lot of data. We need a lot of experience. We need a lot of YouTubers to complain about things. We need a lot of you guys to play the game and give your feedback to developers. Probably a little bit of time to let this game marinate in gamer salt and find its own niche, to find out what it's actually good at.
Just a few weeks later, on August 5th, a closed gameplay test was held with those who wanted to try out the game. The servers filled up and the testing was underway. Though Xdefiant has changed over the years, the one constant has always been its sustained contact with the entire community, taking anything the community gives as valid feedback whether the creators like it or not. So at the end of this testing on August 19th, Xdefiant posted this tweet, and that's a wrap, Defiance. Thank you all for making this closed test a success. We've already begun going through all your feedback and suggestions to help better your next Xdefiant experience. This shows that the creators were very excited that the testing was a big success, and were ready to revamp the game for the better. The hype for the game grew, but even with that pressure, the Xdefiant team kept their heads down and stayed mostly silent for the rest of the year while improving the game. But then, all of a sudden, Xdefiant drops the Tom Clancy name. In March of 2022, Xdefiant had an entire rebrand, removing the big issue that a lot of Ubisoft fans had at the time, the Tom Clancy part of their name. The game was now simply known as Xdefiant. They also scrapped the edgy punk design and logo in return for a more modern, slick design that is stuck to this day. This change was very well received by the overarching community. At the exact same time as this rebrand, Xdefiant started the insider sessions on their website. In their first article, they described these sessions as an opportunity for you to get hands-on in-progress features and provide feedback. Essentially, it allows for the community to sign up and play with and against the development team to basically do more closed testing. The insider sessions continued on from March 15th all the way to October 20th, spanning the focus of every feature you could think of, from player movement to TTK. Like I said earlier, the Xdefiant team always uses feedback, and this allowed for them to do more of that. At this point, the hype was calming down for the rest of 2022 and into 2023. But even though the Xdefiant team stayed relatively low-key, they were of course continuing to make the game better and better. But the hype would start to build back up when the game started to pick up a new nickname. A controversial nickname. The Call of Duty Killer.
Let's have a little bit of a talk here about the Call of Duty Killer that is Xdefiant.
Is it a COD killer?
I know I call this game the COD Killer. Everyone's calling it the COD Killer.
A lot of people classify it as the Call of Duty Killer.
So one thing that a lot of people are saying is that, like, oh, this game is the Call of Duty Killer.
On April 6, 2023, Xdefiant announced a big closed beta. Many more content creators began to get involved with the game, and it was kinda obvious that the Xdefiant team was starting to build the final wave of hype before the big game release. I'm not sure of the exact origins of the COD Killer title, but it quickly swept through the entire first-person shooter genre, with many channels from all across the FPS community making their own videos donning the phrase. Content creators like FaZe Jev, Dr. Disrespect, Dismo, Merc Music, and plenty more all made content during the closed beta. As I've already stated numerous times, the Xdefiant team loves their feedback to better their game for the community. So the community did not hold back, giving plenty of critiques and feedback about possible balances and improvements to features, as well as plenty of bugs and glitches. Normally, in a community like Call of Duty, critiques are given to Activision by the players, and nothing ever comes of them, leaving a deep-seated distrust between the community and the creators, especially when it goes on for numerous years and numerous game titles. But when it comes to Xdefiant, you can really feel the genuine optimism in the widespread fandom, feeling like their opinions and what they have to say will actually make an impact on the game itself. So the critiques and feedback actually builds a stronger community because of the stronger trust between the creators and the players. As it was for the original Tom Clancy's Xdefiant closed beta, this testing was a huge success, not just for Mark Rubin and his team, but also for the continued growth of Xdefiant and its community. For many people, including me, this was the first time that they had heard about this new competitor to Call of Duty, and it really intrigued those who were sick of the current realistic, modern style of COD, and just wanted to have a fun, not overly competitive arcade shooter to pick up and play from time to time. So with more hype and build for Xdefiant than ever, there was a final beta announced on June 16th, 2023. There's only one big difference from the rest of the past betas though. This was a fully open cross-play beta, meaning that anyone could play this beta, no matter the device or generation of console. This was absolutely massive for the ever-growing community. It was only for 3 days, but it really allowed for Xdefiant to establish its name and bring its hype to an all-time high. This beta unlocked all attachments for all guns and really allowed for testing of just about everything that will be in the full game's release. The feedback and overall volume of talk in the community was at an all-time high. And now, that just about brings us to the modern day. The release date that was given by Mark Rubin himself is late summer. He and the team have given no specific details on the exact date, but Ludwig's big YouTube gaming event that you may have heard of will have Xdefiant in it. That event is on September 2nd, so it seems that we could be mere days away from the release. And I don't know about you guys, but I couldn't be more excited. And if you guys are looking towards any camo grinding when Xdefiant comes out, then check out the video I made right here where I tell you all about the Xdefiant camo grind. Thank you guys for the unbelievable love and support on the videos, and I'll see you all in Xdefiant. Woo! That's a wrap, baby.